Alright, Diablo players, one of the top tier builds for Season 10 is the brand new Mana Shield Ice Hydra variant. So in this build, we're going to be running the brand new Chaos unique perk that is called Mana Shield, which reduces our HP by 99%, and basically that makes us have 5 HP, so you do not want to get any maximum life. But it does give you 5,000% mana regen, you also get 400% increased mana, and for every 1 point of int, that is also 1 point of maximum mana, which on average will give you about 20,000, but if you really push, you can get like 30,000 mana. You're going to be ultra mega tanky, basically invincible. I've already tested this build out as far as Andariel, and you can literally sit inside of Andariel's AoE. Let me show you guys that real quick. So here's Andariel. This is the move that everyone hates, like Andariel, because of this. Look, I'm literally sitting inside of Andariel's AoE, and I have literally 5 HP. You can face tank most of the bosses until you get super high in the pit. You can tank most of like the red attacks too. Again, this is crazy that Andariel's does not actually kill us. And that is simply due to the brand new unique chaos power called Mana Shield. So yeah, very, very good stuff indeed. But I want to go ahead and explain that first, as that's the most important part of the brand new, they don't call them powers, they're called perks, but it's the same dang thing. You pick 3 like minor ones, and then you have a unique one that is unique to your class that's very, very strong. But I also want to mention that the build guide over here, you have to pay attention to this whole video. The reason why is like I can't even show you guys the chest piece that I equip, because the chest piece is actually like an amulet. There's a lot of build websites that don't have everything, so I have to use 2 different websites to kind of make the video here. But keep in mind, this is PTR, things are subject to change, but just wanted to mention that as a heads up. There's not like no chest piece here. It's just I cannot fit in the like gloves in the boots department. It just doesn't let you do that in the build websites right now. Even on Maxroll over here, the builder has like no image for the thing. It's going to be rough for the first few weeks, I would say, for a lot of the build websites, because programming this is probably going to be a nightmare. Anyways, let's go over the build guide and I'll explain everything. But again, normally I would say, you know, you can go click on the pinned and it'll have all the data for you, but you just have to pay attention to this video, otherwise it won't make sense. So for starters, this is an Ice Hydra build. We need to weave an ice shot in between our Hydras, which is fine because you don't really want to be spamming Hydras anyways. But now Serpentine Aspect has gotten changed, so you don't really spend all of your resource instantly. It has a cap of 500, which we're going to have like 20,000 mana, so it's very easy to hit. But basically, you use Hydra and you weave in an ice shards in between the cast, and that's why it's going to be the Ice Hydra. We also play the Ice Wolves here that will chill as well as apply vulnerability for us. But as far as it goes, we run Ice Shards, again, weave this in between each Hydra cast, and then we have Ice Blades, just for more attack speed. We still play Flame Shield. If we ever run into the situation where we take big damage, this is optional. You can play Primordial Binding for more DPS. I actually run the enchant over here, but it doesn't really matter. It's up to you what you want to play over here. I just figured we get the extra attack speed as well. This is optional. And then we have Infernal for more damage, and then Teleport because it's cool. We don't actually need to play Talrashus in this build. It's gotten nerfed in Season 10, so you actually have a free extra slot. And then we have the Hydra as well as the Familiar here. Again, when we use a non-familiar conjuration, we can summon the other little elements that will give us more damage. Now, for the gear. So as far as like the armor pieces, I'm going to use this website because it's going to make things a little bit easier. So how it works is the helmet must be the Hail of Verglass. That's why we use this, because it gives us int. It's very, very important to get int in this build. That gives you huge, huge bonus amounts of damage here. And then we can also, in any of the categories. So these 4 slots are completely optional where they go, but they just have to go in the build. So we play Ophidian Iris. This is, of course, the amulet, but you can play it in the chest piece, the boots, the pants. Doesn't matter. Just you want to play it. These won't roll on the weapons, by the way, but it's only in these 4 slots that are going to be interchangeable. So Ophidian Iris, you want GA on int, more int. Lochran's Talisman, you get a big bonus of crit strike chance. This gives you half of your crit in your build immediately. And then for every 100 resource above 100, which is, you get 20,000 here, it has a cap of 500 resource, but you get 0.2 crit strike damage, which is amazing. So you get big bonus on that. Fist of Fate, you get a big bonus here with the brand new Chaos Uniques. Again, you don't want to put these on the gloves though. You want to put this anywhere but the gloves. It's going to give you big damage. And then we have Axial Conduit. This is an absolute must. This literally gives you double of your mana. It's huge. You definitely want to run this in every single Sorc build next season. It's Axial Conduit. Again, you don't have to have it in the pants category because you can play it anywhere, which is really cool. So that's something that I wanted to mention really quick for the build. And again, it's noted in here that you can swap any of the areas, but the helm must be the Hail of Verglass because that one does not roll as a Chaos Unique. Now, as far as the weapon goes, it's the same exact thing. Serpentine, it's gotten nerfed, but you could still do Pit 100, no problem. I did it with literally 5 HP, did it on the first try. You can probably, I want to say my rough estimation is probably a Pit 120-ish with the build, so it's going to be absolutely a top tier build for Season 10, just like it was in Season 9. But this has actually gotten nerfed. I know it doesn't say it here, but it has a maximum cap of spending 500 mana, which makes it so you never spend all your mana. One thing's important, do not, and I repeat, do not play the Cax rune in this build. You will one-shot yourself, basically. So that's important. It doesn't really matter because no one really played Cax in this variant anyways, but I felt like it was important. But yeah, Serpentine, it does not consume all your mana. It consumes up to 500. So you want, the Hydras have more heads. That's what you want. Then also in the amulet department, Flash Fire, you want GA on int on your amulet, but Flash Fire just gives you a big damage bonus. There's actually something that is optional here, but I think that most people will enjoy it. So getting an amulet with movement speed as well as crafting the temper on the movement speed is excellent here because you don't play normal boots. So if you don't do that, you're going to feel very, very slow. So I really recommend getting some movement speed in the build in the amulet department because losing out on these other multipliers is too big. So your amulet is the last area here. If you want to get more damage, by all means go for it. But the big amount of movement speed that you get with the amulet, it's just too good to give up, I would say, for most players. Keep in mind, you don't need that much damage to complete the brand new form of content. You can absolutely just do the brand new Chaos Waves, one-shot the bosses, but I really like movement speed because moving slow in town, it feels really bad, so that is a way to change it. You could also technically run the Air of Perdition in the helmet category, which can also give you movement speed if you want to, but you lose out on 100x plus the GA on it if you do that. But again, I like movement speed, otherwise, the game feels bad. The alternate option is to get a perfect Harlequin with triple masterworking on a greater affix cooldown reduction, and then you don't even need to walk, right? So that is another option that you go for. But I want to say that that's unrealistic for most people to achieve. Sure, on the PTR, you can keep on spamming the mythics, but realistically, I think it's kind of hard to hit. But if you do want to go for it, you already know what to do. Starless Skies is excellent for the build. It still works with the Serpentine aspect. There's a lot of things for some reason Starless Skies gets around, but Banishor's Talisman does not work in this build. And there's also a power that says if you have core skills, it gives you bonus damage based on ranks, and it also makes the mana cost go up. That does not work, but Starless Skies, this just works for the build. So you want to get core skills. You do not, again, need crit for the build. You want crit damage for sure, but not really crit strike chance because, again, the Lockhorn's Talisman will give you a massive amount, plus you get bonuses on the Paragon board. But Battlecasters is excellent because it gives you up to 12 additional ranks. This is huge for the build, and then you want Hydra and Infernal cooldown reduction. And then as far as the runes, I run Nagu Vex for extra ranks, and then Agni Se. Se will apply the wolves, so you get the ice wolves that will apply chill and vulnerability, which is great. And then we also have the ice shards to also chill them as well. The gems don't really matter here too much. And the other department, though, as far as the amulets, because we don't have the gems from the last season, we just run skulls. Run skulls everywhere and you should be good. And then the powers, obviously, we're going to have to go over those in text over here. So the powers are going to be Mana Shield, which we went over. Then we want Power Siphon, which just gives us extra damage, but it reduces our resource by 20, but we have 20,000, so this doesn't matter. And then we have alternating alterations. So this is why you use the ice shards in between. It procs Hail of Verglass, and you have to mix the core skills. So it just makes it so every single time you swap, you just get another multiplier here. It's basically another aspect, 30 increased damage, and then Mana Infused Conjuration gives you another multiplier. Again, there is one that says your core skills do more damage based on ranks. It doesn't work. The coding might be updated. That's something that could be a bug, but it does say you spend mana, and Hydra does not spend mana. Even though you have Serpentine that spends mana, it doesn't activate properly. So if that gets updated, I'll obviously be updating these planners, but it's PTR, so things could change. So that's just a note over there as far as the powers go. And again, Mana Shield is the only thing that's like super key and critical here. Now, as far as the skill tree goes, so the first 2 points don't really matter here, and then we just get more mana. I had extra points, so I put into potent warding, but it doesn't really matter. Flame Shield, teleport. You can put more points in teleport if you want. Glass Cannon, some more damage over there. Max out Hydra, and then we want the extra critical strike chance here, and that's why, again, you don't need to stack crit. For Ice Blades, we do get the extra attack speed, and then the Familiar over here giving us extra of the stuff for Primordial Binding. This is key for the build here. You do not need to get any of the protection, because the barrier that you generate, it literally says 0 barrier. It'll activate. That's why you can't run Conceited also in the build. But you can see it's activated right now. It literally gives you 1 or 0 barrier. It's just, I don't know, it has a weird rounding thing. And then we get Inner Flame, so just more crit over here, then all the bonus damage, and then of course Infernal, and then we get extra damage over here, and then lastly, of course, we get Esu's Ferocity. So we get, this is the crit variant, because Lockeron's Talisman is great because it's pretty busted. It does have a cap of 500, but it's great. Anyways, for the Paragon board, we start off with Destruction, and then we move on to the Frigid Fate with Pyromaniac, and then we could move on. It doesn't really matter too much in the order here, although if you do run the Shroud of False Death, you can actually hit all the orange nodes. But we go up to Enchantment Master, and then we get Conjure. So again, you get the extra critical strike chance, and as well as this is why you want to run the Double Fire. Again, the other one gets converted with the Familiar. Then Tactician over here will give us bonus. Unleash is also a pretty decent one to give you extra mana, but I didn't have mana problems because Primordial Binding is excellent. And then Invocation over here, this one will be getting some extra damage reduction as well as massive amount of crit. That's why you stack a bunch of crit in the build. And then, and lastly, I wanted to go ahead and mention, as far as the build goes, that this build does not need life. So you're going to see all the life nodes are removed, and that's because you only have 5 HP. And so you can see I'm tanking the bosses. The brand new Bartok Super Mega Boss. This is on Tormented 4. Well, it's obviously, if you go in the Wave 10 over here, he should be a lot stronger, but it's really easy. Again, you only have 5 HP, but it's not a big deal. So the last final points over here, you can just slam it into anything that says Intelligence, and you're going to be way, way, way stronger because it's going to be a multiplier. But yeah, just put it in anywhere in the int. You do not need to get maximum life. I repeat that. So you're going to be able to max out your Paragon board a lot faster. You also could probably remove a lot of the resistances. I felt like this build was so tanky that you could remove all of the defenses, to be honest. Like, you can remove all of like the damage reduction in here, because the mana pool, if you min-max this build, you can get like 30k mana. Look, I'm at 35k and I'm not even fully min-max. I would say you could probably get up to 40k mana if you really squeezed and got the perfect piece of gear. Look, I'm literally face tanking the AoE on the brand new boss, and yeah, we're gonna one-shot him in a second. But yeah, don't get HP on the build because you do not need it. And you're gonna see, well, the boss is already dead. But anyways, yeah, have a blast with this build, guys. It's super fun to play. But let me know if there's any ways to improve the build, as it's PTR, and I was kind of just messing around with it, and a lot of you guys wanted the build, so I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and drop the build guide for it, and we'll update you guys in the future if things do change. So sub if you're new, and I'll be updating you guys on the build. Man, the Hydra is still absolutely an S tier, top tier build for Season 10. Anyways, peace out, gamers. The builder will be in the pin.